What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today I have for you episode 10 in the Blabbermouth sister-in-law series, the final episode of this saga. In the last episode, Coddle Mum came to the fore and went absolutely crazy, calling CPS on OP, which was absolutely ridiculous. We also heard a little bit about the trial. I would have loved to hear more, but I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. More will be told in this episode. Also, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or you may have missed an episode, there's a playlist down below of all the Blabbermouth sister-in-law episodes in order. So if you're not sure about the series, you're like, what is this? Or you can't remember what's been going on recently, click it. They're all there for you. Go through and listen to them. But for now, sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel. This is the final episode in the Blabbermouth saga. The end. Or so we hope. A while back, I posted about being physically assaulted by entitled cousin and one of his friends, while Blabbermouth tracked down my kids and tried to drag one of my youngest away. They were arrested and have been awaiting trial in jail. So here is the update you've all been waiting for, the outcome of their trial. The delay in posting was mostly due to the holidays, Christmas, New Year, and illness among people involved. After that, I needed time to process everything. I didn't attend most of the trial, but my parents and close friends were present and kept my husband and me updated. The case is now closed. Both entitled cousin and Blabbermouth have been sentenced to prison. Everything possible was thrown at them. Charges, evidence, witness accounts, with the hope that they'd spend a good amount of time behind bars. For anonymity's sake, I won't share how long their sentences are. Entitled cousin was convicted of several charges, the most serious being grievous bodily harm and aiding and kidnapping. Blabbermouth was also convicted with attempted kidnapping and aiding grievous bodily harm topping the list. After their release, they are legally prohibited from contacting us or coming near us. We're hoping they actually respect that this time. Yes, they planned this together. The idea was for entitled cousin to beat me up, to scare me and make me more pliable. Blabbermouth would lure the kids away, hoping that we'd be forced to pay a ransom. On the stand, Blabbermouth insisted she never meant to hurt my kids, she just wanted money. Entitled cousin's accomplice cut a deal. He provided testimony and evidence in exchange for probation, a fine, and community service. Apparently, Blabbermouth resented me because of my success, my investments, education, and salary. My brother-in-law made some investments too, but they didn't pan out like ours did. This apparently sparked jealousy and bitterness in Blabbermouth. When asked why she tried to take my children, her answer was, so that their mother would pay me the money I deserve and that she owes me. She felt she was owed money for babysitting or hosting sleepovers, even when she had asked to have the kids over for the weekend. Fun fact, we always gave her a gift, flowers or money as a thank you. We paid her the going nanny rate the few times that she did babysit. We covered her gas when she drove the kids anywhere. Even when she offered to help, we compensated her with cash or nice gifts. She always claimed it wasn't necessary, but we did it anyway. We also paid her daughters when they babysat. Now, we know how deeply jealous she was of our financial situation. My husband and I never felt like we flaunted our money, but in hindsight, maybe we should have handled things differently. Still, my husband and I were absolutely flabbergasted by her actions. The audacity. My mother-in-law and father-in-law are devastated. They're furious at what she tried to do, but also heartbroken. They never imagined their daughter could go this far or end up in prison. My mother-in-law is especially broken. She originally asked us to forgive and or forget, and we both lost our cool. Blabbermouth didn't just betray us, she tried to destroy our family. When my mother-in-law heard Blabbermouth's reason in court, she cried. She finally understood just how much we'd supported Blabbermouth and her family over the years, financially and emotionally. Friends who were in the courtroom said my in-laws were absolutely shattered. But pure joy on our end. We're free of entitled cousin and Blabbermouth for now, and they got exactly what they deserved. I won't lie, it was satisfying to see their faces when the guilty verdicts were read. Blabbermouth tried to say something, blubbering and crying so hard I couldn't make out the words. Only her husband and youngest child still support her. Her other children have disowned her and didn't even show up in court. Entitled Cousin, on the other hand, lost it. He started shouting and insulting everyone. His life has completely fallen apart. His wife filed for divorce right after his arrest, got full custody, moved away, sold their house, which was in her name, got a no contact order, and is now building a great life for herself and their kids. He has lost everything: friends, family, wife, children. His kids, who are close in age to mine, want nothing to do with him. Only his mother still supports him. Not even his dad or sisters are in his corner anymore. My lawyer and my husband are both proud that I finally learned to stand up for myself. I no longer let family get away with toxic behavior. I still try to see the good in people, but I now understand that not everyone has light in them. I've learned how to set boundaries, choose my battles, and fight when I must. Justice isn't always this sweet. Honestly, Entitled Cousin should have been locked up a long time ago. My children finally feel safe again. They are sleeping better. LeFou, Frou, and their wonderful owners, our neighbours, have been incredible. Our neighbours knew the full story early on. They never asked for anything, they just gave us endless love, support and trust. They've become chosen family. The kids see them as extra grandparents, and the neighbours love having them around. They never had children of their own, so this bond means the world to them. They call the kids their honorary nibblings. Our eldest especially looks up to the male neighbour as a male role model. In all this chaos, he's given him advice and perspective that's really helped him grow. I'm so grateful we found family through this mess. I hope things stay peaceful for a while. I'm not sure if I'll be posting much after this. The saga of Entitled Cousin and Blabbermouth has finally come to an end. Good luck to all. Okay, so there we go. That is phenomenal news. Maybe the best news we've had actually throughout this entire saga so far. I was pretty confident we weren't really going to hear anything about the trial or the sentencing at all, just for sort of anonymity purposes, and also because obviously in previous posts we were told by OP, like, you know, can't really reveal too much stuff. But of course, when the sentencing has been sentenced and Blabbermouth and Entitled Cousin are put away and it's all decided, that's public info. So yeah, we get to know. I guess again, for anonymity reasons, we're not going to know exactly how long the sentences are, although I would absolutely love to know that. Maybe that would be a little bit too obvious, although I kind of doubt it. I mean, it'd be quite hard to find out just from the length of a sentence who an individual is. But yeah, leave your comments down below. Again, I'm not quite sure which country this takes place in. I've tried to work it out and I can't. If you can, or you might know just based on certain content that's happened, then let me know in the comments. But that aside, and I know it is country dependent, how long do you think both of these guys have gone down for? I reckon at least a couple of years, but who knows? I mean, both of the sentences are very serious, like you'd hope, especially with the abducting children one. Like that has to be attempted abduction of children. Like that is bad. There's GBH, and then there's attempting to abduct children. I think one of them is slightly worse. I mean, they're both not great, don't get me wrong, but yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right then, now let's jump ahead to January the 9th, 2024 with our next post, update on the family. I still get messages from people asking for updates on my family, especially about my mother-in-law. My husband and the kids are doing much better. Therapy has helped a lot. They've learned that some things are simply out of their control. They're not feeling helpless anymore, and they're in a much better mental space than before. We've also been training regularly with our dog, which has really boosted the children's confidence. Our relationship with my mother-in-law is so-so. The trial took an immense toll on her. She finally realised the impact her actions and inactions had on us. Even though she's been in therapy, the reality of who Blabbermouth truly is didn't sink in right away. But that reality eventually came crashing down. Blabbermouth danged herself in her mother's eyes. For years, my mother-in-law downplayed everything Blabbermouth said and did to me, from the very beginning of my relationship with my husband. She never really believed that Blabbermouth meant any of those hurtful things she said over the years. But the most shocking thing Blabbermouth ever said didn't even happen in court. It happened during a jail visit from my mother-in-law. Blabbermouth told her mum that I had always overreacted, that family shares, and that I and the children should just shut up, stop complaining, and do as she says. She said that I should have divorced my husband long ago, but since I was the one bringing in more money, I should have been a good family member and shared it. She said none of this would have happened if I'd just done what she wanted, that I wouldn't have been harmed if I'd simply followed her instructions, that I was the reason she was in jail. She said she needed to prove that she was the one who got to decide what I did with my money because she's older than me and knew what was best for the family. I roll, sure, Blabbermouth. As what, the most spoiled one of them all? Then she told my mother-in-law that I was never worthy of being part of the family, that I had my uses, but if I wasn't going to part with my money, it would be better if me and my children, not my husband's kids, my kids alone in her mind, were no longer part of it. The way my poor mother-in-law interpreted that last remark, she believed her daughter had just wished death on me and her grandchildren. She told us this herself. And while my mother-in-law has a huge heart, she often misses the subtext in what people say or do. This time though, she understood. Now, I don't personally believe that Blabbermouth wants me dead. She knows full well that while my husband earns a good salary, it's my income and my investments that created our financial cushion. That's the only reason we were ever able to help her and her family the way we did. She's extremely entitled, yes, but is she that stupid? Not quite. She's made it clear over the years that she wanted my husband to divorce me. She's tried to sabotage and end our relationship more times than I can count, but I don't believe she ever intended to kill me. When the possibility came up that she could be indicted for attempted manslaughter after entitled cousin's attack on me, she panicked. She wanted me compliant, not dead. But her actions damaged her relationship with her brother beyond repair. My husband has always placed me and the children on a pedestal, and by hurting me, by going this far, Blabbermouth lost his respect completely. He's furious with her. He's disowned her entirely. He doesn't care what happens to her anymore. And it's not just my husband. Even her own mother believed she wanted us dead. We explained to her what really happened, reminded her of all the things we've done for Blabbermouth and her family, and for others as well, but she didn't seem to hear it, or she didn't want to. She finally saw it all. The comments, the digs, the constant little ways Blabbermouth tried to undermine me. All the things she'd always excused, she saw them for what they were. Now she understands the full severity of her daughter's behaviour, the calculated, cruel ways she tried to break me, to control me, to force me to comply, even if it meant endangering my health, my life, and inflicting trauma on my children. As long as our wills were broken and Blabbermouth's demands were met, nothing else mattered to her. That realization shattered my mother-in-law. She no longer sees her daughter as just a loving mother. She sees her for what she truly is, entitled, manipulative, and now living with the consequences of her own actions. She's been apologizing constantly. She cries a lot. We look at her now with a mix of sadness and relief. Sadness for her broken heart, but relief that Blabbermouth no longer has an ally in her mother. Even Blabbermouth's children, especially the two eldest, told their grandmother bluntly, "We're glad you finally see her for who she is." They were tired of the rug sweeping. They're not angry with their grandmother, but they are done pretending everything is okay. They know she's non-confrontational and tends to ignore problems to keep the peace, but they're not letting her avoid the truth anymore. She is continuing therapy. There's still a long road ahead. As for the rest of the family, they've been quiet. Nobody's asked us for money. A few have reached out for budgeting advice or guidance, which we're happy to give. We're civil with those who went against us. Cordial, but distant. Okay, now let's get into the next post, which is a little bit different, and I think you guys might welcome this change. Titled, "Some Wonderful News." A very good friend of mine, let's call him Jake, showed up at my door with his great love as a surprise. They're getting married this summer, and I have the absolute honour of being the best woman. My husband will be the best man. My eldest and youngest will be the ring bearers, and my daughter gets to be the flower maiden. They thought that flower girl didn't apply since she's a teenager. Fair enough. Finally, some good news. Well, there we go. That is a welcome change. However, sadly, that was just a little bit of respite in this story. Let's get into now the final post of this entire saga, and sadly, it's a pretty tragic title. The Passing of Mother-in-Law. After seeing Jake marry his great love, life gave us a heartbreaking turn. My mother-in-law, My husband's loving mum has passed away. She fell down the stairs and broke her leg. Surgery was needed. She made it through and was recovering well at home. Things seemed stable, even hopeful. Then the signs of infection started. At first, we thought it was manageable. Stronger antibiotics, maybe another hospital stay, and she'd be okay. But when the doctors examined her more thoroughly, they found the infection was much worse than they'd anticipated. Still, we held on to hope. Then came the second blow. The tissue had turned necrotic. Another surgery was needed to remove the dead tissue. We were scared, but still trying to stay positive. And then, the bombshell. After running further tests, the doctors told us the risk of her heart, liver, and kidneys failing during surgery was alarmingly high. So high, they were certain she wouldn't survive the procedure. In short, whether she had the surgery or not, she was going to die. I still don't fully understand how they knew that. Maybe I don't want to. But hearing it, trying to process it, was devastating. Heartbroken doesn't even begin to describe it. My father-in-law brought her home. My husband and I helped arrange at-home palliative care. We reached out to family and friends, and they came to say their goodbyes. After 5 days, they gave her the sleep medication. She passed away peacefully early Tuesday morning. My father-in-law contacted Blabbermouth, her lawyer, and my brother-in-law. They're coordinating with our lawyer about the funeral and how the no contact order will be handled. We've made it clear that we're not involved in any of the logistics around Blabbermouth's temporary release from prison. That's between my lawyer and the legal side of things. All we asked was that the no contact order be upheld. We want to say goodbye to my mother-in-law without any drama. She had the chance to say goodbye to the people she loved. She told my husband and me she was sorry, that she just wanted the family to be whole again. We forgave her. Her funeral is next Monday. My lawyer is calling today to confirm the final arrangements around Blabbermouth's attendance. I know this post is a bit all over the place, and I'm sorry for that. There's just a lot to hold right now. Oh man, what a horrible, sad end to this entire saga. As I said, that is actually the last post that we have at this time, right now, recording 15th of July 2025. This was posted October 25th 2024, about 9 months ago, and we've not really had anything since then. So maybe there will be more in the future when Entitled Cousin and Blabbermouth get released from prison. If they ever do, who knows. But for now, that is the end of the story, and that's a pretty sad ending. I feel like your mother-in-law, OP, don't really know how to describe her in this story, but she had big ups and big downs, I suppose is all I'll say. I think you summed it up by saying that she has a very big heart, and maybe the fact that her heart is so big meant that she couldn't really see the truth, and for that reason was on her daughter's side far too much and didn't want to really understand or realize what was really going on. But that aside, and I feel like that's shown by her apology, like on her deathbed saying, oh, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. That aside, she seems like a great person. So yeah, a tragic ending. I don't know what else to say, really. Sad stuff. But yeah, there we go. As for the other characters in this story, that's sort of all we have. At least Entitled Cousin and Blabbermouth are in prison, and the fact that it hasn't been mentioned how long they're in for, and there's no sort of mention of an update of when they'll be released, makes me think that they'll be in there for quite a long time. You know, say they were getting out in 6 months' time. OP might say, I'll update you in a few months, or da-da-da-da. But right now, there's nothing. It's also worth mentioning as well, we didn't have a post about OP's mother-in-law's funeral, or whether or not Blabbermouth attended. Maybe that's for the best, who knows. But yeah, for now, that is the end of this saga. Don't worry, I will monitor it, as I always do with these ones, especially the series, to see if there's anything new. But for now, that is going to do it. Really hope you have enjoyed this entire story. It's been a movie, and speaking of which, you may already be watching this or listening to this as a movie, but of course, as with all my long series, these episodes will be turned into movies, so look out for that in the next few weeks. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for your support on it. You guys have really enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments, as always, if you want to see more episodic series like this rather than just one-off episodes with random posts from Reddit. Also, if you have missed an episode or whatever, the playlist is on screen right here. Click on that. It's also linked in the description and in the pinned comment, and you can go through and watch and listen to every single episode. But yeah, all that being said, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll catch you very soon.